Hi everyone, and welcome to Tech Solutions Hub YouTube channel. It's your friend and technology instructor, Tech Wizard, and this channel is passionate about helping people who are blind or visually impaired to live more independent and fulfilling lives through technology by sharing and uploading the latest news and updates on technology for the blind. From time to time, you will be hearing different voices on the channel who will be covering everything from new assistive devices to accessible apps and softwares. These personalities will also be sharing tips and tricks on how to use technology to your advantage. We will be so glad if you can subscribe to the channel. I hope you'll find our videos helpful and informative. Please feel free to leave comments, share the videos, and suggest topics for future videos. Together, we can make technology more accessible for everyone.
Hi beautiful people, we are still on commentary screen reader, and today we are going to be talking about the TTS settings of commentary screen reader. So without much delay, we are going to go into commentary screen reader, and I'm going to use the shortcut to get there. Bring up my main menu and then swipe till I get to jieshuo Plus.
Main menu.
That's another name for commentary screen reader.
Granular list browsing. Read the whole screen. Voice assistant. Extensions. Jieshuo settings.
So we are going to jieshuo settings.
0051.6 Jieshuo Plus.
And we are on jieshuo Plus. That's on jieshuo settings. That's the international name for commentary screen reader. So we are going to
TTS settings.
TTS settings. That's where we are going presently. So we click on it.
TTS settings.
We are on TTS settings now, and then we swipe.
Navigate up button. TTS settings. Main TTS engine.
We have the main TTS engine and we have the
Secondary TTS engine.
secondary TTS engine. Before I go further, the main TTS engine has to do with your screen reader, the type of screen reader you are using for your main TTS engine. Why the secondary TTS engine, that is text to speech engine now, has to do with the TTS engine, that is the voice you use for your notifications. So commentary screen reader, like we explained earlier, can use two different TTS engines. One as your main screen reader, while the other one can be used as your notification voice. So for instance, for me, I am using ETI Eloquence for this recording. I am using text to speech from Google Text to Speech, the one you know as speech recognition from Google. So that's what I use for my notification voice. So it announces my notifications. So we are going to the one I use as my main screen reader. I can decide to change it. So if I want to go to the one I'm using for my main screen reader, I will just go to
Main TTS engine.
Main TTS engine. So I am going to activate that.
Main TTS engine.
Now I've clicked on it. I'm using ETI Eloquence as my main TTS engine. Don't forget, TTS simply means text to speech. So my main TTS engine, that is the one I use for my screen reader, is ETI Eloquence. I can decide to change it after having clicked on main TTS engine. So what do we have here? We are going to be swiping forward.
Main TTS engine.
Yeah.
Select TTS engine.
It says select TTS engine.
Open ETI Eloquence TTS/s.codefactory.eloquences.
Open ETI Eloquence from Code Factory.
Uncheck use a single TTS engine. Everything will be read using the main TTS engine while this option is checked.
So if you check this option like it has just said now, everything you are doing will be read through your main screen reader text-to-speech engine. That's the TTS engine. So let's swipe forward again.
TTS rate acceleration. This function is still in beta. It allows to accelerate the TTS engine beyond its maximum available rate. It is not guaranteed to support all TTS engines.
So this one is still in beta form, just like it said. It's TTS rate.
Unchecked TTS rate acceleration. This function is still in beta. It allows to accelerate the TTS engine beyond its maximum available rate. It is not guaranteed to support all TTS engines.
So it said it is not guaranteed to support all TTS engines. So you just leave this, then move on.
TTS rate.
There's another TTS rate. After the TTS rate acceleration.
TTS rate acceleration is TTS rate.
So I just swipe backwards once and then swipe forward again. So this is saying TTS rate. If you click on this, it will give you different rates through which you can increase or reduce your TTS. So let's click on it and just observe everything that is there.
TTS rate.
So we've just clicked on it. Let's move on.
TTS rate.
We are swiping forward now.
Check 50.
So it's checked by default on 50. So you still have more.
Uncheck 51.
You have 51,
Uncheck
52,
Uncheck
53.
Uncheck 50. Uncheck 50. Uncheck 56. Uncheck 50. Uncheck 50. Uncheck 59.
The list is endless actually. So it's checked by default on 50. You can decide to move down maybe 40 or 49. You can decide to explore this particular area if you want to. So this is just to tell you that it's the rate.
Uncheck 50, uncheck 50, uncheck 54, uncheck 53, uncheck 52, uncheck 51.
I'm swiping backwards.
Check 50.
So it's checked on 50. So usually I will advise you leave it on 50, except only you just want to explore and maybe just do some adventure with it, but make sure you know what you are doing. So it's checked on 50 by default. So let's go back.
Back button. Main TTS engine.
That's
TTS rate.
to the previous screen. So that's where we have the TTS rate. And then you move forward.
TTS volume.
Then you have TTS volume. Once you click on this,
TTS volume.
you swipe forward.
TTS volume.
TTS volume
Check 100.
is checked by default on 100.
Uncheck 99.
You can decide to move backwards or forward and also explore this part, but
Check 100.
it's checked by default on 100.
Uncheck 110. Check 100.
And then it moves on 110.
Uncheck 120.
It moves by 10, I think, every 10% or so.
Uncheck 100.
But it's advisable and recommended that you should check it on 100. So let's go backwards to the previous screen.
Back button. Main TTS engine. TTS volume.
That's TTS volume. So that has to do with volume. So it's better to leave it on 100 because it's checked on 100 by default. So let's move forward.
TTS pitch.
You have TTS pitch. The pitch has to do with it going high, increasing the voice of the screen reader or reducing it. So let's click it open.
TTS pitch.
And then let's swipe forward.
TTS pitch. Check 50.
So it's checked on 50. Let me try and explore a bit. Let me see if it will change any voice if I reduce it. Let's swipe backwards.
Uncheck 49.
49.
Uncheck 48.
48.
Uncheck 47.
Let me put it on 47 and see if it will have any effect.
TTS pitch.
Though it's not having any effect on this particular screen reader. I'm using ETI Eloquence.
Uncheck audio ducking control. TTS pitch.
Let's click on TTS pitch again. Put it back on 50.
TTS pitch. Check 47. Uncheck 48. Uncheck 49. Uncheck 50.
Let's leave it
pitch.
back on 50 since 50 is the default. So let's move further.
Uncheck audio ducking controls whether the volume of all other sounds is lowered while jieshuo is speaking.
Unchecked audio docking. So this particular feature has to do with, for instance, you are listening to music or something, and then when your screen reader begins to talk, if you check this, it will lower the sound of other apps. It will lower the sound of any other app. For instance, you are listening to music and you check on this audio docking control.
TT unchecked audio ducking controls, whether the volume of all other
So
sounds is lowered while jieshuo is speaking.
it controls whether the voice of other apps is lowered. That is audio ducking. So it controls the sound of other features. I can only use music. Maybe I'm playing a music now and then I don't know if there's any music going on. Let me try and see if I can play anything and then check this. Unfortunately, I wasn't playing any music before now. But then the main reason for this is for it to control once it starts talking. And for instance, you are playing a music on your phone, it will reduce the sound of any other thing you are doing. That's if checked, but it's unchecked here. I decided to leave mine unchecked. So let's move on. It's audio ducking.
Check use accessibility volume.
Use accessibility volume should be checked. If you check it, for instance, and you want to increase the audio of, say, maybe your voice notes, you are listening to a voice note, you want to increase the music volume, you wouldn't put your finger on the screen while reducing or increasing the music volume. Music volume has to do with, let's imagine you're on WhatsApp now and you are listening to a voice note and you want to increase it, and this particular feature is checked. You will not put your hand on the screen, maybe your left finger, one of your finger on the screen, while increasing the volume of your music. Once you are increasing it, it will just be telling you music volume. Now let me use the increase volume at the side of my phone to demonstrate. It's checked. Mine is checked. So let me increase it. So this is the music volume now.
Music volume 73.
You heard that. Music volume 73. Now let me reduce it again.
Music volume 66.
Music volume 66. So that's what it does. Now if I put my finger on the screen, let's say I'm using one of my left fingers, I place it on the screen and I want to reduce the volume of my main screen reader. That is my ETI Eloquence. It will just tell me accessibility volume. Let's try that and see.
Unchecked audio ducking controls, whether the volume of all other sounds is lowered
Accessibility
while
volume
jieshuo is
60.
speaking.
You see that it's going down as I'm using the volume down button. It's saying accessibility volume 6. Let me increase it again.
Accessibility volume 60.
Accessibility volume 60. If I increase it,
Accessibility volume 66.
it's saying 66. Let me reduce it.
60.
Check use accessibility volume. Unchecked audio ducking controls, whether the volume of all other sounds is lowered while jieshuo is speaking.
Accessibility volume 66. Music volume 60.
Because my finger is no more on the screen, it's now saying music volume. But if my finger is on the screen, it will be increasing or reducing the volume of my TTS engine. That's my main TTS engine. While the music volume we have to do with the secondary voice for notification. That's what this particular feature does. So let's move on.
Check use accessibility volume.
So the accessibility volume is checked. So don't forget, once your finger is on the screen, after having checked this particular feature, it will reduce the volume of the TTS engine. That is, when one finger is placed on the screen and the other finger is used to reduce or increase the volume keys, either up or down, it will either increase or reduce the volume of your screen reader. But if your finger is not on the screen, it will be increasing the volume of your music, and the music volume takes care of your notification screen. That is the TTS responsible for your notification announcements. So that's what it does.
Uncheck use the proximity sensor controls, whether speech is stopped when the proximity sensor is approached.
So this proximity control, if you check it and you touch the sensor of your phone that's on top of the screen at the very beginning of the phone, it will stop that screen reader from talking. Let's take it again. If you check the proximity control here, let's move forward and backwards.
Check use accessibility. Uncheck use the proximity sensor controls whether speech is stopped when the proximity sensor is approached.
This is proximity sensor. So this proximity sensor stops speech from continuing. If your finger is on top of the screen while your screen reader is talking, it will just stop it from talking. So that's on top of the screen at the main top, at the topmost part of your screen. If you touch the sensor, it will stop your screen reader from talking when checked, if it is checked. Mine is unchecked presently.
Uncheck use the proximity sensor controls whether speech is stopped when the proximity sensor is approached.
So it's unchecked. I just want it that way. So let's move forward.
Checked.
Okay, I move forward again. There's another checked. I don't know what that's for, but that particular one is checked. There is no feature explained there. So let's move forward.
Check prevent the screen from locking while speaking controls whether the screen is kept awake while jieshuo is speaking.
Okay, this particular feature has to do with, let's imagine that your screen is talking, probably reading an article or a story. If it's unchecked, the screen will go off, it will lock after a certain period of time you've programmed your phone to lock the screen. So, but if this particular feature is checked, when you are reading an article, it will not lock the screen. It will finish the article before the screen goes off, depending on the seconds or minutes you've programmed your screen lock to. So that's what this particular feature does. So that's all on this particular set of features.
Main TTS engine. Uncheck use a single TTS engine. Everything with TTS rate acceleration is function of TTS rate. TTS volume. TTS pitch. Unchecked audio ducking controls whether the volume of all TTS volume. TTS rate. TTS rate acceleration is function. Uncheck use a single TTS engine. Everything will open ETI eloquence TTS. Select TTS engine.
So this select TTS engine right now under this same main TTS. If you click on this, it will allow you to select any TTS engine. I want to do something here. Let me see if what I tried doing with the pitch would work for another different TTS engine. So I will click on this TTS.
Select TTS engine.
I will select on this TTS engine.
Select TTS
I want
engine.
to change my screen reader now. That is the main screen reader.
Select TTS. Uncheck system TTS
That is the
engine.
main TTS engine now.
Uncheck SBAG. Uncheck Baidu Cloud T. Uncheck Difflutech.
I'm looking for smart voice.
Uncheck speech recognition. Uncheck jieshuo plus/com. Uncheck speech recognition and synthesis from google/com.google.android.tts.
That's what I use for my secondary TTS engine to be able to get notifications.
Uncheck jieshuo plus/com. Check ETI eloquence TTS/s.com factory.eloquences.
So it's checked on ETI eloquence. So let's move on. Let me change it to smart voice.
Uncheck smart voice/TTS.smartvoice.
Main TTS engine.
So I've changed it to smart voice now. Now let me move on to that pitch and see if it will have any effect on smart voice.
Select TTS engine. Open Smart Voice TTS Smart. Unchecked use a single TTS engine. Everything will be read using the main TTS engine while this option is checked. TTS rate acceleration. This function is still in beta. It allows TTS rate. TTS volume.
I'm looking for pitch.
TTS pitch. TTS pitch.
Let me put it on pitch and try to see if I can increase the pitch.
TTS pitch. Check 50.
It's checked on 50. Let me look for 55 or 56.
Uncheck 50. Uncheck 52. Uncheck 53. Uncheck 54. Uncheck 55. TTS pitch.
It has increased, you see?
Unchecked audio ducking controls whether the volume of all other sounds is lowered while jieshuo is speaking. TTS pitch.
Now let me see if I can increase it again.
TTS pitch. TTS pitch. Check 55. Uncheck 56. Uncheck 57. Uncheck 58. Uncheck 59. Uncheck 60.
Let me click on 60 and see.
TTS pitch. Unchecked audio ducking controls whether the volume of all other sounds is lowered while jieshuo is speaking.
You can see it works better with smart voice.
TTS pitch.
So let me go back and leave it on 50.
TTS pitch.
You see it has increased the pitch. And if it's not still clear, Let me increase it further to 65.
TTS pitch. Check 60. Uncheck 60. Uncheck 60. Uncheck 63. Uncheck 64. Uncheck 65. TTS pitch. Unchecked audio ducking controls whether the volume of all other sounds is lowered while jieshuo is speaking.
You can see it's increasing the pitch. Now let's go back.
TTS pitch.
And now put it back to 50 by default.
TTS pitch. Cancel button. TTS pitch. Check 65. Uncheck 64. Uncheck 61. Uncheck 56. Uncheck 53. Uncheck 50. Uncheck 51. Uncheck 50. TTS pitch.
You can see it's back to 50. So that's what this particular pitch stuff is for. So I'll go back to my ETI eloquence.
TTS volume. TTS rate. TTS rate. Unchecked. Use a single TTS engine. Open smart voice TTS. Select TTS engine. Select TTS. Select TTS. Uncheck system T. Unchecked SB. Uncheck Baidu Cloud T. Unchecked iFlitip. Uncheck speech recognition. Uncheck jieshuo plus Com9. Uncheck ED eloquence TTSS codifactory eloquence.
Okay, I'm going to click back on ETI eloquence. That's the screen reader or the main screen reader I'm using, and TTS engine as well. So let me click on it.
Main TTS engine.
So I'm back to ETI eloquence. So I believe that we are done with this particular set of features. So I'm going to go back once to my previous screen.
Back button. TTS settings. Main TTS engine.
So I'm done with main TTS engine. Now these are all the features under the main TTS engine. So
secondary TTS engine.
We are going to the secondary TTS engine. Let me see what's left of this set of features here.
System TTS settings.
System TTS settings.
iFlitec TTS settings.
iFlitec TTS settings.
SPAC TTS settings.
SPAC TTS settings.
Unchecked read custom symbol definitions.
Then you have your unchecked read custom definitions.
Custom symbol definition settings.
Custom single definition settings.
Word exclusions and symbol handling settings.
Word exclusion and single handling settings.
Other settings.
And then other settings.
Secondary
So
TTS engine.
let's do the secondary TTS engine here.
Secondary TTS engine.
And then let's move forward.
Secondary TTS engine. Select TTS engine.
For secondary TTS engine. The secondary TTS engine, like I said, is used for your notifications. If you want to be notified of anything, it's the secondary TTS engine that will be used. But I am using speech recognition from Google Talkback.
Open speech recognition and synthesis from google.com.google.android.tts.
So that's my default stuff I'm using. So once I move my music forward and backward, that's the volume keys. It will be telling me music volume. So it's the Google TTS that will be announcing that. Let me do that.
Music volume 53. 60.
So that's the Google speech recognition engine that's doing that. If I have to change it again to another TTS engine, that is the TTS engine that will be used in announcing any notification. So that's the main reason for this particular secondary TTS engine.
TTS rate acceleration.
You still have TTS rate acceleration,
TTS rate.
TTS rate,
TTS volume.
volume,
TTS pitch.
pitch,
Uncheck audio ducking controls. Whether the
uncheck
volume
and others that we've
TTS,
done.
TTS rate acceleration. Open speech record. Select TTS engine. Secondary TTS engine.
So that's what that is used for you to be able to change the TTS engine that you will be able to use for your notifications.
Back button.
So we are
TTS
done with
settings.
that.
Secondary TTS engine.
Now let's move to the other one.
System TTS settings.
Let's see system TTS settings.
Text to speech output.
Now here we're talking about text to speech output,
Back button. Text to speech settings.
and then you hear the text to speech settings here.
Preferred engine speech recognition and synthesis from Google.
So my speech recognition and Google is my system's default settings. That's what I use if I'm to use TalkBack, for instance. So that's what I'm using.
Preferred engine additional settings button.
So you can go to preferred engine additional settings button and click on it,
Google TTS options.
and then let's swipe forward.
Google TTS options. Navigate up button.
Let's swipe forward.
Install voice data.
Here deals with installation of voice data.
Use Wi-Fi only. Download voices data using only Wi-Fi. This conserves data usage.
Okay, this particular feature has a lot to do with Wi-Fi and installation of voices using your Wi-Fi. Mine is unchecked.
Install. Use Wi-Fi only. Download voices data using only Wi-Fi. Off amplify speech volume. Make spoken text louder than normal, so it's easier to hear over other audio that might be playing.
This has to do with more of Google settings and talkback settings. So the amplified stuff.
Use off amplify speech volume. Make spoken text loud. Language detection conservative. Anonymous usage reports on. Feedback. Open source licenses. Google TTS options.
So all these things has to do with the Google talkback.
Back button. Text to speech output. Preferred engine additional settings button.
So
Language English, United States.
my default language is English United States, can be changed.
Speech rate.
Speech rate too has to do with Google Talkback. So if I click on this and decide to increase the speech rate, it might affect my ETI eloquence a bit.
Speech rate 22% slider.
So mine is on 22%. Imagine I increase it now.
Speech rate 27% progress. Speech rate 32. Speech rate 37. Speech rate 42.
So it's not really increasing,
Speech rate 37. Speech rate 32.
but
Speech rate 17.
it will only affect the notification. I want to believe it will only affect notification.
Speech rate.
Music volume 66. 60.
Okay, it's not really affect. It's not having any effect on them.
Speech rate 17% slider.
But in all,
Speech rate 22% progress.
let's leave it on the 22% it is. In all, it has to do with Google Talkback. If you are on Talkback. So let me go back.
Back button. TTS settings. System TTS settings. Iflitech TTS settings. SBI TTS settings. Uncheck read custom symbol definitions.
So this read custom symbol definitions, I don't use it. So I believe that you can explore that.
Custom symbol definition settings.
And then you have custom symbol definition settings,
Word exclusions and symbol handling settings.
word exclusions and symbol handling settings,
Other settings.
and then let's go to other settings here,
Other settings.
and let's see what's under here.
Other settings. Uncheck queue notifications.
We have queue notifications, is unchecked. Still has to do more with receiving of notifications.
Uncheck slow down speech while in character by character browsing mode.
So this has to do with your browser.
Uncheck bypass Bluetooth speaker / headphones while generating speech.
If you click on this bypass Bluetooth speaker while generating speech, your phone, the screen reader is supposed to be sounding outside the Bluetooth when you are connected to a Bluetooth speaker. But CSR hasn't been able to really get this particular feature right. That is commentary screen reader. So even if you check it, your Bluetooth has to be turned on before you can use that. Then let's move further.
Check pause speech while microphone is in use.
Pause speech while microphone is in use. Pause speech while microphone is in use. If you check on this, and maybe you are on WhatsApp, for instance, you are making an audio recording. Let's say you are recording a voice note. If people are sending messages, your commentary screen reader will not obstruct or interrupt. It will not say anything because you've paused the speech here. So
Uncheck pause speech while microphone is in use.
So once you're using the microphone, for instance, to record a voice note, and people are sending messages, it will not be talking because this is checked. Now let's move further.
Check use the enhanced accessibility volume control. If the accessibility volume fluctuates frequently, you can try to enable this option.
So you check this. Mine is checked.
Check enhanced screen locking prevention mechanism. It is recommended to check this option if the other option does not work.
So this should also be checked.
To check this
Enhanced
option, if the
screen
other option does
locking
not work.
prevention mechanism. It should be checked.
Uncheck read numbers as single digits.
Read numbers as single digits. I left mine unchecked.
Uncheck read punctuation.
So if you want to use punctuation, if you want your phone to be reading punctuations, you can check this. It's meant for punctuations, like your full stop, comma, colon, inverted commas, semicolon. So if you want it to be reading them while reading, you have to check this particular feature. Let's move back and forth again.
Uncheck read punctuation.
So you will have to check it if you want it to be reading your punctuations.
Check read capital letters while typing.
So this should be checked if you want your capital letters to be read while typing with your finger on the on-screen board on your phone. So this will have to be checked. So your first alphabet after a full stop will pronounce it as capital if this is checked.
Back button. TTS settings.
So I believe that we have done all we need to do on the TTS settings.
Word exclude custom symbol definition. Word exclusions and symbol handling settings.
I
Custom
believe
uncheck SBI TTS setting. Implement system TT secondary TTS engine.
we've covered everything we need to cover on TTS settings.
Main TTS setting. Navigate up button.
So I believe that you all have been able to learn one or two things regarding to the TTS settings.
jieshuo plus. Back button.
So thanks for viewing this video, and we'll let you guys know that you can always subscribe for more YouTube videos like this particular one. Catch you on another edition, and you can as well drop your comments if there's anything you would like to know or any other feature on commentary screen reader you would want us to treat. Thanks a lot. It's me, yours sincerely, Charles M.O. Peters. Do have a lovely day ahead. Bye. 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 Bye.